Hi everyone, today I decided to paint African violets again and go through the some basic steps to explain how I do blocking for any flowers that I paint. So I will start from showing my palette, and this time I'm using a wooden palette again. Hopefully it will work better. So the colors I'm using, or potentially I'll use, I may not use all of them, is titanium white, cadmium yellow light, cadmium yellow deep, yellow ochre, cadmium orange, cadmium red, terra rosa, alizarin crimson, transparent red oxide, and I had a little bit of burnt sienna left, so I can see transparent red oxide is more intense, more brown than burnt sienna. It's a very strong synthetic color. Then I use ultramarine blue. There is a little bit of black. I doubt I use it, but maybe for background with yellow ochre. Viridian. I think try to show viridian. And the last one is called dioxazine purple. So this is a very strong purple color. I use sometimes it for purple flowers. So I have very strong violet color violets, and my setup will be in the video, you'll see it. So it's just a basic like 3 flowers that I have blooming in the pot of African violets. So I'll start from basic wash. So for that I'm using a little bit of viridian, a little bit transparent oxide red. So this is a very thin, I'm thinning it with turpentine. So that's how really any flower painting can start. So I'm kind of doing this wash, and then I will be working in flowers and leaves. So I'm doing very thin wash. I may even wipe it a little, so kind of doing in direction the leaves will go. Yeah, so this is just one of the ways you can do. I may wipe it a little, so my flowers are going to be one flower approximately here, the other flower just raising above it, and then the other one turned back, so kind of here. I'm just, and the leaves are going in that direction and that direction. So it looks like nothing right now. Then I'll start slowly working the leaves in. So in this case, because I have linen and I did wash, I really can start working with the soft brush straight away. It doesn't have to be a very like bristle brush. So I think I will use this synthetic brush. So this is the synthetic brush I'm going to use. I think they're called evergreens from rosemary. So I'll start working on my flowers and leaves. So first I think I'll do flowers. So I use this purple color with a little bit of and I'm doing thin first. I'm doing thin, and I will add a thicker layer. So I'm using this purple, and then I'm using a little bit of blue as well, just to see which one will work better for me. So that's for the darkest parts. So that's my petals. So using darkest shadows first. And there is another one over here that's kind of turned away. I'll make it a little lighter later when I start adding lights. And then this flower has a little bit, so I'm using tiny bit of light just to show this lighter parts, adding a little bit of white, so because these flowers are catching more light. And as always, I paint from life, and this This one has a little bit of more red, so I'm adding alizarin. Painting from life, because that's the best way to see and catch the color and the value. So I'm squinting tiny bit. I think more purple in this flower that go into the kind of trying to look at the bigger shapes of petals. So wiping my brush and using more dark here and more lighter petal here. So I actually counted the petals and there are about 5 petals in these flowers. So they're kind of like this. This one is a little bit longer petals and a little bit elongated this direction. And there is more red and light, so I'm trying to show the palette. Hopefully you've seen it. So I kind of traveling from darkest to lightest and adding either purple or alizarin. So at this point I will wipe my brush on paper towel, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to mix background color before I do some leaves. Maybe I'll do some dark leaves first, and then I'm going to carve around background color. So I'm using again transparent red oxide and a little bit of viridian, a little bit more viridian, and a little bit more until I see the dark green. So the front leaves go kind of this direction and this direction and this direction. So there are some lighter leaves and there is a little bit of red in them more, so I'm using more brown and purple. Hopefully you can see how I'm mixing the colors. So I'm doing this lighter leaf here, and greener here. So really I'm trying to focus and see which direction the leaves go and see where they're greener, because African violets, they have a little bit of green in them and a little bit of brown. So this is just a basic leaves. So I'm trying to use my yellow, stiff yellow here, and a little bit of green for the front leaves. And because it's in the pot, I'm not going to paint the pot, but I'll try to just do kind of abstract type. So I'm using yellow ochre, a little bit of black actually, and a little bit of gray I had here from previous painting. I'm going to carve around. So I'm carving around the flowers. Maybe a little bit more white. So I created a very nice gray color that I can paint around. And I'm trying to get to the shape right, but it doesn't have to be perfect shape. That's why the flowers are beautiful, because of their imperfections. And I will go back, of course, with thicker colors later. So at this point I'm trying to carve around the flowers. So the second flower petals go like this, curving that way, and then this petal, and then carving through here a little bit. And it's a back and forth work, so I will go back and paint over where I see that I need to correct the shape. So this is a nice gray color. So like I said, it's yellow ochre and black and some white with some older paints ahead. So this is going around leaves. So there are some leaves in background. I may paint them, may not. First I will see. So there are lots of greens. At this point I'm not going to do more background color, just leaves only will be left. And I try to make sure I have enough paint and it glides quite well as well. So maybe that should be enough. Actually, I may do some pot color over here just to see how it will look, warm brown color. Okay, so this is my palette. That's how it looks right now. So this is a gray color, this is a gray color, and this is green colors, and these are purple colors I used for painting. So I'm going to wipe my brush again, wash it with my liquid. Actually, I'll show, this is a liquid I'm using, so it's quite dirty now. So it's called Eco House, or it can be Gamsol or any other. So I'm going to use slightly smaller, softer brush again. So this is again flat rosemary brush. And I want to go in between the leaves a little. So I'm using, at this point I think I may introduce some medium in it. So I'm using, make sure I have enough paint on the tip. So I fill these gaps with leaves where I see. So there are some leaves at the back that can be only indication, and I can paint them over the background actually. Some leaves can go off canvas. Trying to make soft touches with the leaves, with the leaves that go at the back. So I'm mixing some, I'll show, I'm mixing some transparent, not transparent, sorry, what I'm saying. I'm mixing some terra rosa and viridian to make this reddish color, because some ridges of the leaves that color, and then I paint these ones as well. So kind of try not to make any hard edges at this point, and not to mark my holder for the phone. So I'm trying to mix now a brighter green. If I can move my yellow color, of course, because it's a little bit stiff color, so trying to do some brighter green color with help of my soft brush. So see how it works. So I'm using medium, it's called walnut alkyd medium, so because I have some sunshine coming out now, so I really can see the back leaves of this, and a little bit of back of that. The leaf itself still quite dark. So they're kind of overlapping. I want to get the front leaves, that the most beautiful color. Really, I need to clean the brush, but because it's all green, yellow, I hope it will work. And then I see again leaves with purple ridges under. So I need to clean the brush and go back again with just dark green around the leaves here. Kind of lost my leaf, but I'm going to paint over it again. Yeah. So I'm using still viridian. Added some white to that mixture, actually a little bit, to make it lighter. Because that's how the leaves look, a little bit of green, a little bit of brown, and very light. I think this green I used might be too much. I have to tone it down a little, the same as here. Maybe some leaves at the back now. Trying to pay attention. So there are some stems. So there are some stems that brown. There are some stems that green. I'm not going to paint all stems either. I'm going to use just kind of some of abstract shapes. So I think the cooler green will work better, yeah. And the middle of the leaf, the ridge. So I have to show my palette again, so I'm making some, again, lighter green. So when I squint, you can see some leaf come here. That's front leaf. Then there is leaf here, and it has a very distinct brown edge because it's kind of burnt. So I'm going to make this one. So I'm using yellow green mixture, but I added some white to it. And then one leaf goes this way. Leaves going this way. And I think I will go back to some darker back leaves just to emphasize some of the edges over there, but not too much. So there is some light falling on this leaf. As you can see, I'm trying to use very, very soft touches. I'll show my palette in a second. Just trying to focus. And then I'll go back to flowers as well. So I think I lost completely one petal. Got too engaged with leaves. Yeah, so now I'm going to clean my brush. I'll show the palette. So this is my palette. So really this was, I was using colors terra rosa and green, and then yellow and green and some white. So now I'm going to mix some more in this my previous mixture. Try not to contaminate it too much. I'm trying to get the right color, not to lose the color. So trying to see how high I can go, high in value, because this color was really nice and clean. Yeah. So that petal still, it's sometimes difficult to hold both at the same time, but I'm trying to show my palette so it would be easier to see what I'm doing. So I'm using again the same, that dioxazine purple. So this petal overlaps and it's in the dark. This petal goes that way, and this petal goes this way. And then I will add some yellow middle tones, middle, how are they called? Little middles of the flowers. I forgot how they're called. So I think I grabbed some yellow with my holder, but I think it's okay, I have enough. So I'm going to use a darker color to go back, put my palette for a second, because this is distinct, like separation where the petals curl, and then there is this separation. And the light one has a dark petal in there. So I kind of go back and forth, and this has tiny stem. This has tiny. Actually, this one turned this way. I'm trying not to overwork these petals as well. So this one has a reach of dark, and then it transitions into so now I'm going to use some yellow color and very, very tip of my brush, just to get these middles of the flowers, like a corner. This one has here. Once you put the middle of the flower, you really know what flower it is and where the petals. So before that it was kind of not clear what it is and where it comes from. So I'm just using enough paint to put that small yellow, and I add a tiny bit of white as well. I don't see that one, but on this one I can see the stem, so I'm just using this color for the stem as well, just where the light falls. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do next, I will go again with my bigger brush that I started with, and I'll go around those flowers and see if I can remove some leaves maybe that I don't like, because I think this leaf is missing. It's not there in the painting, and I think it will be better when I do some ridges here, and then this leaf can be painted potentially. So if I squint, squeeze and squint, yeah. There are some really light, nice light leaves in front. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to paint just the ridge of that leaf, and then the ridge of that leaf. It's almost white ridge, but at the same time it's in the shadow more than the other ones, and it has very like very light ridge, but not much color in it. So I'm working, at this point I'm working on just some additional shapes that I can add if they could improve my painting. I think this terra rosa with green is a very good addition to leaves, so I'm adding a little bit of that. And I think I must be almost done, because this is just to show that you can work on it, of course, long time, but this is just to show how with a simple block in you can really do any flower painting. You just a matter of how far you can go with it. Do you want to keep it at sketch level just on practice, or do you want to do big painting? In any case, it's a good exercise, especially for like daily painting. You can set up any flower, like I did this room violet, because right now not much of other flowers, so I'm just doing a little bit of touching darker areas. It's actually a little bit more green in this leaf rather than I'm trying to do to show that which leaf is in front, which one is overlapping. So that one at the back, but I think it has more green in it than I painted. Yeah. So again, I'm not showing my palette yet, but I'll show it in a minute once I do this leaf. And you can do different ways. You can do it like I kind of change this leaf a little. You can do it with a ridge from this side and from this side, if you know where the leaf middle. Trying to see if different variation of color. Really don't like this very bright one. So I hope you will be able to set up your room plant and do something similar, because it's kind of fun to do these flowers. And what I was going to mention is like the edges of these flowers can be sharper, the ones that especially in front. So I'm going to use more purple to emphasize it. So that's a simple painting, and it only took me half an hour or so. So don't need to overthink these paintings and think that it wouldn't work out, or I'm just going to do this a little smaller. Yeah, you just go ahead and paint it and see what comes up. Sometimes you can surprise yourself, like, because every painting is a little surprise. You don't know what will come out of it. So this is my palette again. That's for the flowers, for the greens, and for the grays. And one last modification I think I want to make, because this one has actually, once you look at it again, this has more green behind and not as much petals. So I kind of have to put a leaf here, the leaves that overlap this flower. Yeah, that will look better. So I'm going to use actually yellow ochre, and because I have a little bit of it left, the rest was smudged. So I'll use direction of this and a little bit in the background, and then underleaf do a little bit of dark. Yeah, I think I would leave this as it is. It was a great exercise, and it didn't take lots of time. So stems you can do like this, and you can do terra rosa with what is called viridian. I keep forgetting this color, viridian. Yeah. Okay, and I didn't do pot because I think just flowers by themselves. You can spend time on doing pots some other time. If this exercise was for the flowers, then don't need to worry about pot. Okay, so I hope I see you next time, and I will put in my video a photo of my setup, or at least I will try to do it, because sometimes editing is not the greatest thing I enjoy, but I'll try my best. So maybe I will actually bring it closer. So this is a close approach to the plant. So I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Bye.